Hi, I'm Mike and I'm the All Hallows Geek, and welcome to This Week in Eek, my weekly series where I put a little eek in your week by recapping some of the top stories in Halloween and horror news from the last week. Well, it's here. If you're watching this on the day it's released, Stranger Things 4 Volume 2 has dropped. The final 2 episodes of the 4th season of Stranger Things seem to be guaranteed to hit us in the feels, and while I haven't watched it yet, I will be later today, and I still don't know if I'm ready for it. But before we get into this week's news, I did want to give you a heads up that next week I will again be joining Miranda over at Spooky Little Halloween to do an Instagram Live to talk about the final 2 episodes of Season 4. You can catch us over on Instagram at Spooky Little Halloween on Thursday, July 7th at 6 p.m. Pacific. So you've got about a week to watch, and then join us for a night of Stranger Things fun. And honestly, last time it ran a little long, but it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of engagement in the chat, so I'd love for you guys to come and hang out. All right, that said, let's get into it. All right, sticking with the theme of Stranger Things, when Stranger Things 4 Volume 1 dropped, so did a new Stranger Things clothing collection from Quiksilver. But this week, the surf lifestyle brand released another piece in the collection that's actually pretty cool. Quiksilver has unveiled a new limited edition pair of board shorts as part of its Hellfire Surf Club collection that actually change color when they get wet. The board shorts feature a checker print up the sides that changes to a blood red color when in water, and the black part of the shorts actually feature a Demogorgon flame print, but you can only see it when the shorts get wet. The new color-changing shorts are exclusive to Quiksilver.com and Quiksilver stores and retail for $76. So it's a bit pricey, but I mean, you'd be the coolest one at the pool with those shorts. I gotta be honest. Like, if I had $76 to drop on board shorts and I went anywhere near a pool like ever, I might actually get those. And let's be honest here, whether or not you like Stranger Things, there's no denying the impact the Netflix series has had on popular culture. And if you're a creative person and are looking for tips on how to find similar success, this week, learning streaming platform MasterClass announced that Matt and Ross Duffer, the creators, writers, and executive producers of Stranger Things, will teach a class on how to develop an original TV series. In the class, the Duffer brothers will share with MasterClass members how they plotted Stranger Things from beginning to end, revealing how to develop ideas, plan narrative arcs, create unforgettable characters, and put it all together into a pitch-ready pilot. The class is available now exclusively on MasterClass, and one of the cool things about this is that in addition to learning stuff, which I guess that's really the main thing about MasterClass, is they're going to share a lot of stuff from the development of Stranger Things, including never-before-seen documents, like initial brainstorms and plot outlines for the show. And that also is going to include, kind of as a bonus, an inside look into what it was like to develop the latest season of Stranger Things. So really, it's, even if you're a fan of Stranger Things, this might be worth checking out. I know I did that for the Danny Elfman masterclass. Like, I wasn't there to learn how to, compose music, but I wanted to kind of get some insight into Danny Elfman, so it's kind of cool. Anyway, for more information to sign up, you can visit masterclass.com. All right, enough about Stranger Things. This next story is for those of you who grew up on the works of R.L. Stine. We recently learned that the Fear Street and Goosebumps author is working on a new comic book series for Boom Studios called Stuff of Nightmares. The new 4-issue limited comic book series will debut in September, and perhaps the most exciting aspect of the series is that this time it's not for kids. His first creator-owned comic book series is intended for grown-ups and will be the iconic author's take on some of pop culture's most iconic monsters. In the premiere of Stine's reanimated reimagining, the monster you encounter isn't the one you thought it'd be. You might be familiar with the classic tale of a mad scientist hell-bent on creating life, but what these two demented brothers have created is something else entirely. Stine calls the new series ghastly, gory, and good stomach-churning fun, so this is definitely a series you're going to want to check out if you love Stine and you love comic books. Physical copies of Stuff of Nightmares #1 will be available at comic shops this September, with digital copies available wherever you buy digital comics. And if you're a fan of Goosebumps, you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for or pre-order issue 1 with the variant cover by Goosebumps artist Tim Jacobus. So the original artist behind all of the Goosebumps book is doing a variant cover, so definitely keep an eye out for that. All right, so apparently we're on a bit of an 80s kick this week, aren't we? I mean, we started out with Stranger Things, we're talking R.L. Stine. Well, let's keep it going because this week Focus Features announced a new film penned by Jennifer's body scribe, Diablo Cody. Titled Lisa Frankenstein, and yes, they were definitely playing off of the name Lisa Frank since this is a new take on the Frankenstein story and it's set in 1989. The film tells of an unpopular high schooler who accidentally reanimates a handsome Victorian corpse during a lightning storm and starts to rebuild him into the man of her dreams using the broken tanning bed in her garage. Alright, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, why does a teenage girl have a handsome Victorian corpse? And did people really have tanning beds in their garage in the 80s? I don't remember that being a thing, but maybe it was. Whatever, I'm not here to judge. This sounds fun. It almost feels like it could be a gender-flipped weird science with a horror twist, so I'm all about it. And anything Diablo Cody's done, I've loved, so looking forward to seeing where this goes. The film will be the feature-length directorial debut from Zelda Williams and will star Freaky's Catherine Newton and Riverdale's Cole Sprouse. The film is slated to begin principal photography later this summer. And rounding out our top stories this week, if you're excited about the upcoming Spirit Halloween the movie, then you're going to want to try and get your butt to Midsummer Scream when it returns to the Long Beach Convention Center next month, because the Halloween and Horror Convention will be hosting a special advanced screening of the film's teaser trailer on the last day of the convention. The film's screenwriter, Billy Bates, will be on hand to present the trailer and discuss the film. The journey to Spirit Halloween the movie, of course, started with Bates' spec script, which she submitted back in 2018, and it earned her a spot in the Writers Lab, and it also landed her as a finalist in the 2018 Atlanta Film Festival screenplay competition, and then it won her an award at the 2018 Nashville Film Festival. So this has been a long time coming. Inspired by the popular Halloween store, Spirit Halloween the movie is about a group of middle school kids who sneak into an abandoned spirit store on Halloween night and discover too late that the location is actually haunted. When the animatronics come to life, their night of fun quickly becomes a night of survival. Spirit Halloween the movie is slated to be released sometime this October. So if you're interested, single day, weekend, and gold-back VIP passes to Midsummer Scream are still available. So if you want to catch the trailer before the general public does, be sure to get your tickets over at midsummerscream.org. Alright, before we go, let's talk trailers, and as a reminder, you can find all of these over on ohallowsgeek.com or just seek them out here on YouTube. You're already here, why not? Just wait till you're done with this episode, okay? Alright, the big one this week, of course, is the teaser for Hocus Pocus 2, which gives us our first glimpse into the events that conjure up the return of the Sanderson sisters, the infamous Salem witches made famous by actresses Bette Midler, Kathleen Jimmy, and Sarah Jessica Parker, who of course make their highly anticipated return in the sequel. Hocus Pocus 2 will be an original movie event which will begin streaming on September 30th exclusively on Disney+. And another teaser making headlines this week was the teaser for Nickelodeon's third installment of its Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Ghost Island. The next chapter in the Are You Afraid of the Dark series tells of a group of 4 friends on an island vacation who are drawn into the mystery of the island's ghosts. And Are You Afraid of the Dark? Ghost Island will debut with a 2-hour episode on Saturday, July 30th at 7 p.m. on Nickelodeon. And Nick made headlines this week with not one, but 2 trailers. So in addition to Are You Afraid of the Dark, Nickelodeon released the first full trailer for its live-action musical, Monster High, the movie. Based on the iconic Monster High franchise about the children of famous monsters and creatures, the film follows Claudine Wolfe, born half human and half werewolf, after arriving at her new school, Monster High. She quickly makes friends with classmates Frankie Stine and Draculaura, and for the first time in her life feels like she fits in. But when a devious plan to destroy Monster High threatens to reveal her true identity, Claudine must learn to embrace her true monster heart and find a way to save the day alongside her new friends. Monster High the movie premieres Thursday, October 6th at 7 p.m. on Nickelodeon and streams that same day on Paramount+. And not all of this week's trailers are for the small screen. Our last trailer of the week is for the new Sony Pictures vampire horror film, The Invitation. Directed by Jessica M. Thompson, The Invitation stars Natalie Emanuel as Evie, who after the death of her mother and having no other known relatives, takes a DNA test and discovers a long-lost cousin she never knew she had. Invited by her newfound family to a lavish wedding in the English countryside, she's at first seduced by the sexy aristocrat host, but is soon thrust into a nightmare of survival as she uncovers twisted secrets in her family's history and the unsettling intentions behind their sinful generosity. The Invitation is coming exclusively to theaters on August 26th, 2022. Alright, before we go, I have a couple of announcements. First, I want to take a moment to formally announce that I have launched an All Hallows Geek Discord server where you can now connect with myself as well as all the other creepy geeks to talk about all the stuff you're geeking out on. I'll have a link to the server down in the description below, so please join, come hang out, talk all things creepy and geeky. I've set up tons of channels to talk everything from toys to games to movies to TV, streaming, pretty much anything I talk about on the site, there's a channel for it. So come geek out with me. I'm really looking forward to building this community. It's been great on social, but this is a little bit more specific and we can make sure we can all interact a little bit better. In addition to that, I've also launched a Patreon, and if you've been following me for a while, you know that All Hallows Geek has grown quite a bit since its humble beginnings back in 2016. All Hallows Geek has grown from just a small hobby blog to a full-blown independent media venture. It now encompasses a website, a newsletter, social presence across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, of course my work here on YouTube. And my hope is that through this fan-funded support, I can continue to grow and maintain sustainability in the digital space and create even more exciting content for all of you. You know, I've created various tiers with various perks, so if you're interested or can contribute, I'll be sure to leave a link to it down in the description. And check it out. See if it's something you're interested in. Don't feel like you have to, but it definitely helps me out. And if you like what I'm doing, I would appreciate it. All right, lastly, Halloween hunting season is upon us, and I wanted to give you a rundown of this year's plan. As in years past, I will officially begin Halloween hunting the weekend after the 4th of July, and Instagram will continue to be my primary outlet for Code Orange and Halloween hunting finds. So be sure you're following at All Hallows Geek there so that you can keep up with everything I'm coming across. Of course, larger finds or full store walkthroughs like when when Spirit Halloween opens, that will likely include video, which I will host here. So it won't all be Instagram, but that is where you're gonna find the bulk of it. And I also want to let you know that if you're a hardcore Halloween hunter, I did want to share that as part of my Patreon, the Putting the Eek in Geek tier will have access to an exclusive Code Orange channel on my Discord server where I'll be sharing finds before sharing them publicly on social media. So if you want to be one of the first ones to know about it, that's definitely one of the tiers you'll want to look at and get in on, because it's going to go there before it goes to Instagram or the rest of the masses. The plan is again to go out Friday afternoons and weekends to hunt for new stock unless I hear of items coming in during the week. So be sure to keep an eye on my Instagram posts on those days in particular. I'll continue to keep my weekly trips all the way up until Halloween season or until it looks like stores have stopped getting new Halloween. So definitely starting next week, start checking back on the regular because anything I find I'll be sharing there both in my feed and in my stories depending on what it is. And if you're wondering what stores I hit, if you haven't followed me historically, I pretty much hit them all. Early in the season, it's a lot of Michaels, Joann Fabric. Then we get into places like Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Ross, Marshalls. Of course, we get the 99-cent store and Dollar Tree. And then once the bigger chains start getting stuff in, I hit things like Big Lots, Target, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Sam's Club, Costco, pretty much anywhere you can find Halloween, we're hitting it. And one of the things that I'm fortunate that I live close to a lot of different stores. We're kind of like in the center of it. So I do travel to some of the neighboring towns and highlight what they have just to kind of get a complete picture of what's out there. So if you're interested, make sure you're following along on Instagram. And that's it for this week. As always, if you enjoyed this week's episode, give it a like, leave me a comment, or better yet, subscribe to make sure you always get your weekly dose of Eek. If you're interested in learning more about any of this week's top stories, you can find the full coverage to each of the stories over on allhallowsgeek.com. Until next time, keep it creepy.